Greetings, you guys. Welcome to the Standard of Truth podcast, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. Listen, everyone is so up in arms about the ethnicity of VP Kamala Harris, soon to be presidential nominee Kamala Harris. But let me help you. I want to help all of you guys just settle an argument, right? I want to go ahead and I want to put this to rest today. Now, Kamala's mama, she might have been an East Indian, and her daddy might even be an Irish of Indian, Irish descent or something like that. But listen, let me tell you, trust and believe. Kamala is Black, and let me tell you why. You guys, a few months back, I did a show on Blackness, or you can't be Black in biblical, or something to that effect. And during that video, actually, I believe it was a live stream presentation, I presented to you guys, the listening audience, some very poignant questions. And I'm not sure if you guys remember that, but what I want to do is I want to go ahead and quickly run down just a few of the questions that I asked you guys in that video. And the first one was, I asked you guys, I said, what is Blackness? Right? Like, what does it mean to be Black? Like, what is a Black person? You know, where is the nation of Black, and what part of the world is it located in? I asked some other questions such as, well, what language do the people from the nation of Black speak? Right? Like, what are some of their staple cuisines? What do they like to eat? How do people from the nation of Black, how do they dress? Right? Like, how do they dress? What is the national flag of Blackness? Where can we see it raised and waving in the wind? I also asked, I said, what government buildings or historical sites fly the flag of Blackness in front of it? Like, I just wanted to see if we could identify those places. And then I also asked, I said, who is the president of Black? Who is the prime minister of Black? Who is the king of Blackness? What type of government structure do they have at the nation of Black? If I have a grievance or if I have a concern, something that deeply troubles me, who can I write to in the government of Blackness? Who do I write to? Who is going to respond? And so when I asked you guys, what is Blackness and where is the nation of Black? The answer to that, I answered it in that video. And so I'll go ahead and I'll reiterate it here. The answer is that it doesn't exist. There is no such thing called the nation of Black. We cannot go to a map and locate it and find its boundaries or its people. However, I am arguing that the idea of Black and Blackness, and furthermore, the cultural distinction of Blackness as we know it, now that is absolutely a thing. Yes, Blackness is a thing, and how this world defines it, it's a social construct. Right? It's the social construct created by what I am saying, wicked men who hate God and who want to divide and stoke the flames of division and partiality by using something as basic and fundamental as the amount of melanin in a person's skin, and then associating certain cultural or social norms that they come up with, that they want to connect those things to this construct of Blackness. So it doesn't really matter what Kamala, I'm sorry, I really do not know the correct pronunciation of her name. I think it's Kamala. So I've been calling her Kamala, but I'm going to say Kamala. It doesn't matter what Kamala's ethnicity is. It doesn't matter. So essentially, right, if Kamala Harris wants to be Black, she absolutely can. She can absolutely be Black, and there's nothing that any of you can do to stop her. She is telling you that she is Black, so therefore, if that's what she wants to be, fine, let her be that. Let her be and go and bathe in all of her Blackness. Just drown in the Black juice. But here is the problem with that. See, Blackness is neither a biblical or a scientific category, right? It's a social construct created by wicked, godless people that want to use the ideology that undergirds blackness as an agent or mechanism of control. They want to use it to encourage feelings of inferiority and oppression and victimhood, because if they can do that, then they know those kinds of people can be easily controlled. So when we talk about blackness, I am asserting that blackness is a political and a social category. I am arguing that it is not a biblical category. So therefore, if she wants to be black, I don't let that girl be black. Listen, keep in mind, I need you guys to remember that when you choose to accept and bow the knee to these categories and constructs, there's a whole lot of evil and sinful baggage that comes with their language and their messaging. And as we can see, like God's people, when we don't uphold what is true and we instead adopt their language, we end up sounding like fools, and then we conduct ourselves in foolish ways, right? When we allow ourselves to adopt their language and their messaging, it allows the evil one to plant seeds of discord and bitterness and strife among the people of God. And you see, we cannot have that. No, we cannot have that, because that's anti-God, anti-Christ, and anti-gospel behavior. So since we know that blackness is a social category and a social construct, and it doesn't find any basis in biblical truth or science, I want to ask, what is blackness? What is blackness? And can Kamala, is it Kamala or Kamala? I don't know. Listen, she gonna Kamala, right? If Kamala wakes up one day and decides that this is who she is, and she can just adopt blackness and make it her own, I am arguing that she sure can, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. So if Kamala wants to be black and promote and support blackity blackness, then let her go and be free. Let her function in the freedom of her blackness. Let her go and identify with the secular humanistic ideal of blackness, and she can have all of the plight and struggle and adversity until her heart is discontent. Now, she doesn't live life with this blackness in view. No. But she has shown us throughout her entire political career that she will shapeshift and identify with whatever she needs to identify with in order to gain money and power and control and influence. It's about the resources for her. So if Kamala wants to be black, then I will absolutely accept her and her blackness. There it is. I conceded. So to all of the pro-blackity black blacks out there you go. Kamala is black. There's nothing any of us can do about it. And I'm going to start arguing that she's not. Now, to further solidify my point, to prove that Kamala is black and how we should accept her as she is choosing to now present herself, what I want to do is I want to share with you some definitions, right? Because when you look up blackness in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, here is what you're going to discover, right? So we have blackness, right? Which is the quality or state of being black, such as a black color. You have darkness, a gloomy or somber feeling, tone, or character. Now, here is the part that I want to emphasize, because less commonly, blackness can mean the fact or state of belonging to a population group that has dark pigmentation of skin. And now when I first heard that, I said, well, now, wait a minute. Now, we're being told that even though it is less commonly understood, blackness can be associated with a population or group of people that has dark pigmentation of the skin. But when I think that through, how many people in the Middle East or in certain parts of Asia, how many of them have highly pigmented skin? East Indians, like Kamala's people over there in India, a lot of them do have very, very dark skin. And I don't see anyone calling Indians black. Or what about the people from Morocco or Iran? Or do we ever refer to those people over there as black? I don't think so. We don't even refer to Africans as black. We call them Africans. And I thought that was just so interesting. Now, I do have another definition, a possible definition that Webster offers, and it is this one. It is the social and cultural identity and experience of Black people. This is an alternate definition of Blackness according to Merriam's dictionary. Now, this, my friends, I thought was so interesting because Blackness can be a color, but they admit that Blackness is also a social or cultural identity. And so I'm arguing that since I like rooting my arguments on the basis of truth, I am saying that we already know that Blackness is not a scientific or biblical category. And since it's not that, it must be social and a cultural construct. And so if that's the case, what comes along with this social and cultural construct? I would argue that it's plight. It's the struggle and it's adversity. I would also add that Blackness is also loathe, liberation, and lawlessness. And I know you guys don't like this. I know you don't even like to hear that part. But if that's all that we ever hear from the pro-blackity blacks, how else do you want me to define this Blackness? What else am I supposed to gain from the construct of Blackness? Because from my vantage point, it offers nothing of value unless one is using it for their own selfish gain while weaponizing it against people who look at this Blackness as some form of social currency. And so I think you guys missed that. You missed it. Think about it. Why do you think Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, Jamal Bryant, and Kamala Harris harp on Blackness so much? Because they know that the Blackness is a form of social voodoo, and it's a little mind manipulation that when used and weaponized properly, it proves that it can garner them big checks and lots of power and more control. This is why Kamala now wants to be black all of a sudden, right? Like the Blackness, it is super valuable to her now, so therefore, she'll do whatever it takes to ensure that people know and view her as black despite her ethnicity being that of Indian descent. So you see, communists and Marxists, they've reduced an ethnicity that is solely identifiable by an external dermal reality. They've associated it with plight, struggle, and adversity. Now, they don't do this with all ethnicities that present with darker skin tones. They only seem to do this with the American Negro. And so what I want you to do, first of all, listen, you guys listen to this. Blackness has been a crucial political and cultural category that grounds a public discourse on cherishing a robust historical tradition and systematically uprooting white supremacy. So this is Blackness. I just told you that Blackness is a political and a social construct that's grounded and rooted in loathe, liberation, lawlessness, and plight. And so that's Blackness. But Blackness is also defined as this conscious mental attitude expressed in political practice, social organizations, and commitment to the group. This is why Kamala could be an Indian and be a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha and attend an HBCU. Would you look at that? Kamala has figured out that to be black, you don't have to look black. All you have to do is identify with the political practice, social organization, and commitment to what the group deems as important, and then voila, you are a black person. So essentially, I've just argued anyone Anyone can be black. I don't even know why we're mad at Rachel Dolezal, because she was definitely identifying with the plight and the struggle of the black folks. And so essentially, Rachel, you are vindicated. You're black. Kamala's black. Anyone and from anywhere can identify and be black based on that definition. And so the whole purpose of this video was to settle an argument. Is Kamala Harris black? I would argue, yes, she is. She is black. And since blackness is a social construct, a political ideology, this other category that has nothing to do with ethnicity, but rather with how you think, act, and behave, then yes, let Kamala be black. Welcome to the Kamala Tide, Kamala. Welcome, baby girl. Your blackness has been accepted. Yes. Your approval code, I got it right here. It has been recorded. And you are free to use and abuse your blackness in any way that you see fit. As Hillary would say, is it working? I don't know if the currency of the blackness is working for you. I don't know the way the media is kind of ragging on you. It may not be, but I just wanted to officially announce and let you know that I've settled the argument that if Kamala wants to identify and be black, she can be black. Now, Kamala can go and just go bathe. She can go bathe in all of the black juice that she wants to, especially if that means it's going to get her ahead and catapult her politically to where she wants to be. And as we can see, it's already worked with the Black Church PAC. Y'all didn't see it from the other day? They're just loving on her and giving her all kinds of approval and support, because remember, blackness is more about what you believe and what you support and less about what you look like. Dear friends, blackness is a worldview. It's godless. It celebrates sex, secularism, and savagery. Yes, they love womb assassination. Yes, that comes with the construct of blackness. You must be thirsty for the blood of the unborn, and you must encourage women to desire unfeathered access to it, because that's what they deem as empowering. The black girl magic, yes. Reclaiming and owning their voices, all about the blackness. All people groups of the world at one point, I would agree, they have or at one point have suffered or experienced pain and suffering of some kind, but none of that matters. It doesn't matter, because in the construct of blackness, they are laser focused and hell bent on even making up new hardships. Jussie Smollett, new hardships, new struggles, new systems of plight and oppression that don't even exist, because victimhood, it's their superpower. It's all they know, even though in their observed reality, that's not even the case. So here's the message for God's people, because I'm a Christian content creator. That's the space that I navigate in. So I always want to leave some words of encouragement or exhortation, or sometimes even a little bit rebuke. But here's the message for the people of God. God's people, dear friends, we don't think of ourselves in these kinds of wicked, godless categories. The idea of an individual purposely ascribing themselves to the social construct of the category of blackness is not how the Lord wants us to think. I'm telling you, you need to renew your mind, be made alive in Christ Jesus. Because if Kamala wants to be black, let her be black. But what on earth does that have to do with you? Nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with you, because the world and the culture, they want to destroy your biblical foundation and rebuild their own with the idolatry of blackness. And they have their own golden calf, and their goal is to insert it into every walk of life as a substitute religion. And you better not. I'm telling you, as your sister in the Lord, you better not bow down to it. You better not be caught like the children of Israel when Moses was up on Mount Sinai. You don't need to be caught reveling in and dancing and celebrating your blackness like some drunken idolater that ain't got good sense. No, that is not who we are, and that is not what we do. Why should God's people refrain from such shallowness and silliness? It's because the God of blackness can never be appeased. You think, oh, I'm going to just worship a little bit and just going to bow the knee just this one time. No, you cannot do that. The God of blackness can never be appeased. It's never satisfied. It is morally bankrupt and it's deficient at its core because it wants to promote sexual immorality of any kind, sodomy, pedophilia, transgenderism, you name it, they celebrate it. They revel in it. They want to legislate to support it. Anything goes when you bow the knee to the God of blackness. Make no mistake. The religion of blackness, it has their apostles, their prophets, and their disciples, and you do not want to be named among them. Because right now, Kamala Harris is the Pope of perdition. She's their Pope of perdition. Yes, she comes heralding the corrupt message of blackness, and she's emotionally manipulating so many people to buy into her religion of harlotry and theft and destruction. And these apostles of apostasy, they amplify the message of loathed liberation and lawlessness, and they pillage on all the major news networks in order to get you to abandon the truth of scripture in favor of their morally bankrupt narrative that all it does is encourages people to believe that you're oppressed and that, we got to combat these oppressive systems by being a disruptor. Power to the people. Demanding what you believe you deserve. And if you don't get what you want, then everybody got to cancel Christmas and we got to get out in the streets and tear up stuff. No. They encourage hatred and they perpetuate grievance upon grievance by making you believe that the root of everything that's going wrong in your life and all of your problems are these people over there that are perpetuating whiteness. So therefore, you end up hating your neighbor instead of loving your neighbor. It's amazing to me how the party of tolerance hasn't a clue what it means to be loving or tolerant. Dear friends, Kamala's blackness, I don't know if you know this, but it encourages young girls to twerk and to be strippers. She wants to promote feministic rebellion, and she wants our children to learn how to be menacing, unruly, and thuggish. She's queen of the mutt culture. How do we know this? Because she told you right there at her opening rally in Atlanta, she invites a twerking rapper and a mutt culture menacing, unruly, and thuggish rapper to talk about gun violence. Seriously? What kind of schizophrenic messaging is that? Kamala's blackness subscribes to the idea that it's not your indwelling sin that causes you to hate and steal from your neighbor, but rather you were hungry, so therefore ain't nothing wrong with taking from one group, right? And then by force, giving it to another group. This is why she has no problems with open borders. And she just wants all the illegals to come here and come in and live among you and you take care of them. And you may not think that this is true. But when you subscribe to blackness and you take it in as part of your identity, you are agreeing with so many cultural presuppositions that you may not even be aware of, that you end up defying your Christian convictions and violating all kinds of scriptures just so you can stand in solidarity and support and say that I'm with her. Sorry, you can't have blackness without taking the cultural Marxism, the liberation theology, the intersectionality, the critical race theory, and the fake social justice that comes along with it. I'm sorry, you can't. When you subscribe to blackness, you're signing up for an unhealthy obsession with self. It causes you to glory in your flesh. It promotes a preoccupation with your melanin that you believe holds some divine quality that should be worshiped and celebrated instead of you dying to yourself and being crucified with Christ. Listen, if Kamala wants to be black, I say, yes, she is black. She can be black all day, every day, twice on Sunday. Let her have it. Go and let her be baptized into blackness. Because guess what? The people of God, we don't want any parts of any of that foolishness that she promotes anyway. Because we reject the idol of blackness. We don't bow down to it. And we don't want no parts of that wicked religion, no way. Why? Because we worship the one true God. That is who we worship. So Kamala, yes, she is absolutely black. And the true people of God, we reject her and her blackness because we reject any social category or construct that goes against the word of God, period. Like the young folks say. So yes. Even if she wants to identify as black, listen, we can accept that identification, no problem. But we reject all that it is and all that it stands for and all that it represents. So let me know what you guys think. Like, I look forward to hearing your perspective. You can leave it down in the comments below. I know I'm spicy. I know I'm a little passionate, but listen, if Kamala want to be black, don't let that girl bathe in the blackness. Go ahead. Go ahead, power to the people, Kamala. Go be black in peace. Grace and peace, you guys.